Cool. In the first round against Morningstar, do we have a keep here? It's a sketchy keep. I mean, we have spells we can kind of get cast. Unfortunately, we're going to have to mulligan this. Ay. I'm not going to, but at least I have a priest I could put a dragon mantle on. Worst case scenario. Hey. Alright. Now we're looking a little bit better. Looking a wee bit nicer here. Get our fortifier down. And a blood-crazed hoplite. Well, my friend, I will definitely offer that trade, since I assume you won't be taking it. And I'd be happy if you did. Question is, do I make a trade here? Probably not, because my next play is going to be bolts on blood-crazed hoplite. Or another type O creature. Might just do a dragon mantle on the fortifier. Attack in. Have a God's Willing. Kind of a bummer if the fortifier is the card I'm hoping to maintain me for a while, but we'll see. My opponent's tanking on whether or not to attack. Maybe my opponent does have another land, is trying to decide how aggressive to be. I'll take 2. Hopefully this bolts. Yeah, my opponent did miss a land drop. Well, if that's the case, I think we just Dragon Mantle up, right? There could be a Pharika's Cure. I don't want to get blown out by that. Then I get a God's Willing to protect my guy, which is okay, but not great, and still gets the race in my favor. Yeah, we're going to do it. Alright, no cure, that's nice. Get to start digging through the deck. And this bolt can take care of the Hoplite 1-evs. Yep, there's the island my opponent was missing last turn. So what else comes down? What else you got? Morningstar, what you doing? Playing something. Grizzly Transformation. Alright. So that's going to take a bolt quite nicely. Sure, we take a little mini hit at the moment. But it shouldn't be too bad. We'll still get a swing back for 4. And the scry should help us keep going with whatever our next card is going to be. There's a mountain. Kill you? What's my scry? Ooh, Thunderbrute. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, we have the mana for it. It's powerful, so I'll grab it. Would like something ideally that I could be doing like right away. But whatever. Do our 4 damage. That's fine. We get to sink all of our mountains into this Stonewise Fortifier next turn. Because my opponent probably won't be blocking with anything, because the Fortifier will prevent all damage. Not too sure. Could have a nice butt. We also have God's Willing to help protect. And a Grim Guardian. Oh, yeah. Slows a little bit down. Question is, do I want to sacrifice my priest to kill it? Let's see how my opponent wants to block. My opponent should just block the priest, make me spend 4 mana. Oh, I see, I see. Well, I'm happy to do this then. With the God's Willing, just in case, you know, my opponent's trying to do like a Boon of Erebos thing. But spending 2 mana to kill the Grim Guardian, I do like, even though... Oh, the Cruel Feeding. So do I want my... Can I do a... If I God's Willing against black, that means it doesn't have a legal target, right? So it doesn't get that pump? Oh, it's creature I control anyway. Okay, then yeah, we're putting it on my guy. Protection from black. Please. Set our hoplite on the bottom, because we're too late for you. At least my opponent still doesn't get the life, of course, which is nice. I was silly to think that my opponent would. Opponent has 4 cards in hand. I'm definitely not for sure winning this game. It's nice to have the Thunderbrute, though, coming down. I assume it'll just be a 5/5 trample. Be happy if I get an 8/8, though. What a beating. Gosh, I hope my opponent doesn't have a discard. Like a Disciple of Phoenix, one of my favorite cards ever. Ooh, that would hurt. What you doing, Morningstar? Marauder! I am definitely okay with the Marauder. Should stay on D. Which I assume it does. We'll get to still bash in with our Thunderbrute. Gotta hold on to this Fortifier for later when it has 5 mana to protect it. Cool beans. Go, go, go! Thunderbrute! Do I get an 8/8 trample without haste or a 5/5 trample with haste? What you want? Either way, I am happy. Please don't have stymied hopes. Actually, I'm sure you don't, because you've been thinking about what to do. But still, just now realized it. That would be a bummer. Alright, I got the 8/8. There we go. Definitely don't want to trade off my dudes. So I'm cool. Could be a Sip of Hemlock or something, killing Thunderbrute. Or the equivalent uncommon that also kills a land. Ah, Asphyxiate's the one. Alright. I still get attacking with the Fortifier next turn. Eating the Marauder, preventing damage, I presume. It's quite nice. To buy target creature's turn. Got it. Was confused why it was worded in such a way, and now I know. So I might do a Sun God on whatever creature my opponent plays this next turn, so I can scry and get in for a lot of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can do 8 damage. Ooh, and Naiads is definitely a card that I'd want to do that with. However, the Priest kills it. So maybe I don't care about that so much. Yeah, I'm going to save the Glimpse. I think we'll be able to do a nice tempo swing here by using the Priest to kill the Whitewater Naiads. Well, if my opponent just wants to chump and block all day, I guess I'll let my opponent do that. Yeah, because I get to do that. Because my opponent can block here, I pay a bunch of mana, which I'm doing. Preventing damage, as well as pumping. I know my opponent takes one, it's kind of grindy this way, but I do like it. Okay. My creatures aren't exactly grand to be copying, so that's nice. It could have been right there just to sacrifice the priest to kill the Naiad and then attack for a bunch. Yeah, probably was right. Ooh, Herald of Torment. Well, isn't that something fun for you? My priest is going to do quite well here. So what do? Sacrifice the Priest of Iroas to kill the Herald of Torment. Attack with my Stonewise Fortifier. Does this one life matter that my opponent's losing? Not really. Kill that guy. Attack in. There could be like a Triton Tactics or Crypsis here. Well, Crypsis doesn't really do anything. Oops. Oh no, that's good. That's what I wanted. I want to play now my Cyclops One-Eyed Pass. Now, next turn we'll get to do some kind of glimpsy, some gaudy thingy. Alright, my opponent is putting Stratuswalk on Artisan. I don't know why. I mean, I get having a 5-2 is cool, but then my opponent can't block. It must be to draw a card. My opponent was still able to draw later by chumping. But we just, that's like when, my opponent's dead on board now. I don't know, but my opponent has something that can do a lot of damage. I don't know. If there's a follow-up, I'm actually okay with that as well, because then I can glimpse it. What are you doing, my opponent? What are you doing? There we go. There we go. The Erebos' Emissary. Well, it surely would have been nice not to show this glimpse, but I'm going to. Because I don't think there's anything for black. Oops. Guess it doesn't really matter when I'm tapping, but still. There we are. Alright. So my opponent had some things there. I don't really have good sideboard options. I don't really want the 1-3, even though it kind of hoses the 2-1, but I have other spells that can trade for that. Priest is definitely a good card. There's so many targets for it. And yeah, I mean, there's going to be very little sideboarding in these matches, or match. Oi. Lightning Strike is nice, but having 2 4s and the 6... Morningstar Slam kept. I think I have to throw this away. Ugh. I think I have to throw this away too. This is better. 2 spells we can cast. Yes, please. Ooh, a Tormented Hero. Where are my magma sprays? Oh yeah, I passed them. Arrgh. Nobody's fault but my own, said Beck. Wow. A little more aggressive than I saw last game. Two-Head Cerberus will be nice if I'm alive long enough for that. 2-drop? Yay! 2-drop! Let's trade her off with something. Which do I want to trade it off for? Blood Crazed Hoplite, because it gets big. Do you want to trade? I want to trade. Let's trade. Basically, most of my 2-drops, if not all of them, I think all my 2-drops are there just to trade off with things. Having seen Tormented Hero now means I might just want that Setessan Battle Priest. That's 2 now creatures that would be good to kind of slow down. Hoplite's not exactly, I don't think the Setessan Battle Priest is great deciding against the Blood Crazed Hoplite, especially by itself, because it just gets pumped once and then outclasses it. But having a couple of different 2-1s could be fine. The Satyr Rambler, taking out a Blood Crazed Hoplite, or a Combat Trick, which is also okay. Could be one reason why it would be better to put the Rambler on the Tormented Hero, now that I think about it. Because if my opponent does have a Combat Trick, I want to use it, fine. But, Aerial Formation. So yeah, I could have maybe done that, but no, I think I like that I'm forcing my opponent to use the Combat Trick. We're doing 1-for-1 trades. 2-Head Cerberus will come down. Ooh, and now that we have some nice removal spells, this will kind of stem some bleeding. I'll probably still take 3 from the Blood Crazed Hoplite, but it should keep the Tormented Hero back. And then we'll get to do some removing of other cards. Ooh, Way of the Underworld. Goodbye. Alright. We are taking 5. But I can bolt the Hoplite, scry into something else. Ooh, did I just play the Minotaur? I think we do. If I didn't have the Lightning Strike, I wouldn't. But the Hoplite can take 1 more pump, and I can still get these guys gone. It might be bad to be doing this. Because a Bestow, or like a permanent pump, does put the Blood Crazed Hoplite out of range of removal spellage. Yeah. And I'm only preventing... I'm not even preventing 1 damage. Like, if I had taken out the Hoplite with removal spell, I would be taking 2 instead of 3 this turn. That was wrong. I should have bolted the Hoplite right there. Definitely. For sure. For sure. Interesting game, though. My opponent being the aggressor, being blue-black, whereas I'm kind of here just kind of treading water in white-red. And I have been playing spells. I haven't been exactly screwed. I mulliganed a bit, but still. We are at equal cards in hand. I can only imagine mine are better than my opponent's. Alright, well, we'll make the Combat Trick happen again. But I can't just be taking 5 right here. What is the Combat Trick? Necrobite? Oh, the Cruel Feeding that we saw before. Ouch. But it does mean the Tormented Hero's gone. This Bolt will take out the Blood Crazed Hoplite now. And then it's a game of waiting here. Dragon Mantle on bottom. We need a creature, my friend. We need a creature. Love having this Lightning Strike, though. My opponent's at 29 life. Gosh. And I'm at 5. It's going to be so hard to come back from this. Artisan of Forms can hang out. Don't care. Well, that's a bummer. I'll hang on to it for any kind of random discard in the future. 5-turn clock. That is relevant in this game. Ooh, Stratuswalk? Okay, well, I'm not going to let my opponent draw a card, so now I will kill it. Get my little 2-for-1 action. My opponent has no cards in hand, neither do I, but my opponent has infinitely more life than I do. Thunderbrute! Well, that's a card at least. Horrible card, but a card nonetheless. I don't mind playing out my last land here. We each have nothing. Does my opponent draw something better than me? We are at parity. This is kind of amusing. Thunderbrute! Fearsome Temper. At least any creature I draw is going to be good. Ooh, that was another Blood-Crazed Hoplite. Nice Hoplite deck. Creature! Not a Titan Strength. I have 6 the last turn. Now I'm clicking through this turn. Maybe my opponent thinks I have something. Doesn't really change what my opponent does, though, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Next card. Ooh. I like ye. I like ye. We'll get to do a Titan Strength and try to not die. And then this is a lot of pressure on the backswing if my opponent continues to have nothing. Just depends on the power of our top decks. But my opponent has done very well. Ooh, doesn't attack. I can't attack. I'm almost dead. Ooh, I can attack. Yay! Okay, if I had one more land, I could have played the Fearsome Temper. But I don't. It could have been right just to keep both back, because one removal spell gets me, but I feel like I need to start putting the clock on where I can, and I'm more likely to be able to even the playing field this way, and just hope my opponent doesn't get something. And yeah, see, there we are. I guess it may not have mattered anyway, but my opponent got it. My opponent has it. Don't mess up, opponent. Attack, attack. Yep, conceding. Alright, do I want this Battle Priest? I kinda do. What don't I want? The thing is, those 2-1s just become 3-2 so quickly. But again, it forces my opponent to do something, so I kind of think it's good. Oh, my deck is so bad. What am I pulling out? It's actually good against my opponent. But is it too slow? Archetype's good. Is there nothing I want to pull out? I think the Hoplite. I don't think the Hoplite's going to do much. Yeah, I want to play first. This is a keep for sure. 1-2, Protection of God's Willing, and then eventually a nice beefy 5. I like it. One drop? You do have a 1-drop. Now that is crazy. Oppressive Rays. Could go on the Vortex Elemental. Obviously not right now. But in the nearest of futures. Play that card next turn. So my opponent has to pay a whole bunch to activate and such. Tormented Hero. I think I am going to put an Oppressive Rays on the Vortex Elemental, because it basically blanks it. It has to pay 6. My opponent would have to pay 6 extra to ever get it to do anything. Yeah. We'll just keep our beats going. Try to win some kind of race. The life gain in my opponent's deck, which you've seen from that Strive card, is kind of problematic, because I don't think my deck can afford to do extra damage. I don't think my opponent has the power to do extra damage, but we have our Sun Guide too to gain us some life. The Grim Guardian. Oh good, my opponent attacked in. That's great, because I can still be gaining life with this dude. What do I have? Ooh, our Cyclops. Why? Yes, please. I could trade the Priest with the Grim, but I mean, there's just so many better enchantments my opponent has shown me. Might even just trade off the Tormented Hero because I think that's a little bit more relevant. And now if my opponent wants to attack with the Tormented Hero, by all means, go for it. Because next turn, we can kill the Grim Guardian with the Priest and then bash in for 7. Leaving 4 mana up would be interesting. Stratus Walk? Really? The card must be nice. But you can't block now. Guess my opponent doesn't care. But I still think we're winning that race, right? Aren't we? Especially if we draw a land. Gain 2 life, draw a land, attacking for a lot. Lightning Strike's good too. So I attack with both. Leave this guy back and just keep up my tricks. Yeah. Very okay with that. My opponent's taking 5, and I'm negating my opponent's damage each turn, so that's cool with me. I do love the power of our 3 cards in hand. It's quite nice. Alright, is my opponent getting to a place where Vortex Elemental can do anything? Not really. Still costs 3 just to block, and then a whole bunch more to activate an ability. Gaining more life. My opponent now just keeping a bunch of mana up, which is crazy, because at 5 my opponent should be able to play everything they have, so we'll just want to attack in again with our God's Willing and our Lightning Strike available. See what happens. Continue to block, but this time with what? Does my opponent realize you have to pay 3 to activate also? I don't think my opponent does. Or maybe just figured it out. I'm not too sure. Because 1, 2, 3 plus 1, 1, 2, 3, that's a lot. It's not doing what you're thinking it's doing, friend. But maybe my opponent just wants to prevent damage. Is just willing to chump now because it has nothing in hand? Don't know. Yeah, I think my opponent didn't realize that Oppressive Raise, you had to pay to activate the ability as well. So this was why my opponent didn't play anything. What else could be in hand? Just chillin'. A Necrobite? Why would you do that? For the 1 life and damage? I think my opponent's just giving up. Because that seems quite silly. Unless there's a reason for it that I'm not seeing here? I don't know. My opponent's playing weird now, and I can't think. At a certain point, you just go like, you're being crazy. I don't get it. Please show me why you're being crazy. Sorry, I'm sipping water. Let's click through this. I should F6, huh? F6'd. What was the point of that Necrobite? I want to ask my opponent, but then I really don't. Yay! It certainly leaves me vulnerable to my opponent doing something shenanigan with the Grim Guardians, but I think there's enough pressure going through here that it doesn't really matter. This should just close it out right now. You can block a big dude. You have to block a big dude. Grim Guardian has to take this. Yeah, why did my opponent waste the Necrobite? There was hope, wasn't there? Was there not hope, my opponent? Why did you think there was no hope? There was so much hope to be had. Concession? Play it out. Here we go. What you doing? Ooh, the Emissary. If my opponent had more cards in hand, then maybe I'd be scared. Well, my opponent does not. Can't block. And that should be it. Cool. I'm happy this deck got me to round 2. Let's see if it can actually get me to the finals. I doubt it. I'm happy right now. Woohoo!